What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be going over a handful of comments that you guys have left on the channel. Some of them funny, some of them quite controversial, but I thought that they should be featured in this video. So for the first comment, we have GK7588, and he says the chokehold the Mopar community has on our fellow basketball Americans will certainly be studied throughout human history. As much as I want to comment on this, I think I'm going to pass this one up. And then going on to the second comment, and to just put the context there, this guy was commenting on the video that I made where I was talking about my car, the 2015 Lexus RCF, and how it's a Japanese Hellcat. And he says that comparison makes no sense. RCF is a V8 5.0 liter naturally aspirated car. The Hellcat is a V8 6.2 liter supercharged V8. The interior between these two cars is night and day, with the Lexus blowing away the Hellcat. RCF is more track focused. Hellcat is straight line, quarter-mile car. The RCF will go 300,000 miles, while the Hellcat would be good luck to make it to 100,000. Now you're not wrong there. I would have to say, man, you have a pretty fair point. When it comes to the quality and overall design quality of a Lexus in general, it's going to outweigh a Dodge each and every day. Even the new 2024 models of Dodges, they're terrible. Like, they're made from cheap plastic, they break. The Lexuses seem to always be able to hold their value quite well, and they're able to go to 300,000 plus miles on the same engine block. But if I were to compare the two in terms of what I would definitely get the Lexus RCF over the Hellcat any day. Regardless if it has 200 less horsepower, that's not that big of a deal to me, because I do think that the RCF looks a lot better than a Hellcat. And sure, I don't get the supercharger noise, and that's a big selling point for the Hellcat. But I mean, naturally aspirated V8 with 470 horsepower, like, that's enough fun for me. And then the next comment says, I'm so glad that they're underappreciated. That means a low resale value and fun for me. Now, they are underappreciated. Like, Lexus RCFs or F cars in general are not really known for that much performance because they're not turboed and it's hard to get into the ECUs of these cars. And the other thing about them is that because they're not really bought that much or sought after that much, there's not that many of these cars. Like, if you were to look at the Lexus ISF, there's maybe like 2,700 in the entire world. And because of that, they hold their value quite well. Like, ISFs, you want to get a good condition one, you're gonna have to spend at least 30 grand for one from like 2008. And it'll maybe have just under 100,000 miles. And it really just goes back to the fact that people don't really know Lexus for being a performance brand, so they don't really care much for them. And then this next comment is in reference to the same video that I made about comparing the Lexus RCF to a Hellcat, and he says, this over any Dodge all day. Better design, interior, reliability, quality, also looks much better in my opinion, sounds glorious, especially bouncing off the rev limiter. And you guys can argue this down in the comment section. I think that the F cars, or the F line in general, have the best rev limiters. And not to mention too, you're able to bang off this rev limiter a lot without the fear of just blowing your motor, because you know these cars can take the abuse and they're meant for the track. And then if we were to go to the next comment, and this guy is also referencing the video that I made about my car, a video about the Lexus RCF, he says, it's so expensive for an 11-year-old car. I'd love to buy one, but $30,000 to $40,000. That is true, but you also have to understand, like, the reliability is so good for these cars. These are made by Toyota. So 100,000 miles on this car is not the same 100,000 miles that you would see on other cars like a BMW, Mercedes, or Dodge. At that point, those cars are pretty cooked. You have to worry about maintenance, you have to worry about the quality of parts going down, cheap plastics, all these different things. So sure, to the common person that really doesn't understand a Lexus or Toyota, I could understand that. Spending $30,000 for over a 10-year-old car can be pretty mind-boggling. But then if you're trying to approach like $40,000, it does get kind of ridiculous, like for 100,000 miles. But luckily, I haven't really seen that many RCFs to go for that price with that type of mileage. Usually they're in the low 30s to even the high 20s. So they're starting to come down a little bit. I've definitely seen some for around 29,000 with around 110,000 miles on them. What's even crazier is that there's Lexus LC 500s that are going for $50,000 with around 100,000 miles on them. And the big question is, would you guys purchase one of those? Honestly, I'd still probably do that because it's the same exact motor that you find in all the F cars. And you don't have to have that fear of, okay, is this motor going to blow up? Do I have to worry about replacing all these different parts? Do I have to worry about maintenance? You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Then going on to the next comment, he's talking about my car. He says, why put fake carbon on a good car? I will never understand tacky. I mean, hey, everyone has their own different tastes. Eventually I'm going to put real carbon on there. But I mean, most people, when they look at that, they don't realize that it's fake carbon. I mean, I got it for like 60 bucks on eBay. And it's like, who cares? You know, it's a small cosmetic thing. Now, if I were to get like a fake carbon fiber hood or roof, that's a different story. But everyone has their own taste with their cars. I mean, I'm not going to shun people for putting fake carbon fiber on their car. Like, that's literally the only piece on my car that's fake. week. So it's really not that big of a deal to me. Then the next comment says the 2024 RCF with the track package is insane. It does bump up the price to $100,000 though. Basic package is around $70,000. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't get a 2024 RCF track edition because they're so expensive for the amount of performance that you get. Sure, the car looks great and everything, but for the performance, it's pretty terrible. And I mean, you can get a track edition RCF for $60,000 to $70,000, which isn't bad at all. It might have a little bit more miles on it, but it's still a track edition. Now, if you want to get a Fuji edition RCF, you're going to be spending around $90,000 to $100,000 plus, depending on the mileage. And I mean, really the only big difference that you see with those cars is like their wing. They have like a $7,000 wing, a carbon hood. I think they're maybe 0.2 or 3 seconds faster than the standard edition RCF. Do I really think that it's worth the price range difference? I don't believe so. Like if I were to get another RCF, I'd probably just get the track edition, not the Fuji track edition, because honestly, for what some of these regular RCFs are going for, you can definitely get the track edition. And then going on to the next comment, he says, people always sleeping on the Asians. Yeah, people are sleeping on Asian cars, man. Like most people love Mopars, most people love like American muscle cars. Those cars sound great and they look great, but in terms of reliability and looks, it's not really all there. I mean, Japanese cars in general aren't known for their performance, they're more known for the reliability, so that is kind of understandable. And then going on to the next comment, he says it's shaped like a Hyundai. I don't know where he got that one from. I don't, what type of Hyundai are you talking about? Maybe a Veloster? You better take that back, bro. You better take that back. Then going on to the next comment, he says it looks like Homer Simpson drew it. Dang, bro. So that's how you feel, huh? Then going on to the next comment, he says it's for old people. I sort of agree and disagree with this comment, because when most people think of Lexus, they think of like an older gentleman buying this car, or like a dad car or mom car, something like that. They don't think of the F line or the performance line as something that a younger crowd would buy. Like when you think of a sports car that a young person would drive, you automatically think Mustang, Camaro, Scat Pack, some of these like more raw types of cars. But I mean, like 99% of the people that I've met with F cars are younger guys around my age, so I don't really think that applies there. And then Madman says, how many horsepowers do the spacers give us? They give us a lot of power, man. I'm talking like 50 to 100 plus horsepower. You don't even need a tune. You don't need any type of exhaust, any other performance modifications. Just get spacers, you'll be faster. And then Rube commented, he's talking about an RCF. He says, I bought one and I love it. 2024 with a premium performance package. No one can wipe the smile off my face since I picked it up from the dealership. I'm actually kicking myself a little because they were getting a track edition too, and now I think I should have just got the track edition. Yeah, that was what I was talking about earlier. Like I see some people getting the newer models of the RCF when you can get a track edition from, you know, a couple of years ago. But hey, you can trade it in. You can probably just get a trade for trade. You just find an RCF track edition that's within that same price range of what you got your car. Because me personally, like I have never seen a track edition RCF or Fuji track edition RCF. They're all just the base model. And then the next comment says, I love my GS, so underrated with a few mods, they can really boogie. Yeah, the GSs, like the GS 350s, they can move because they have the same transmission as the IS 350. So they have aggressive gearing and they can beat most cars on the road. We're talking like Infinities, we're talking about 370Zs, even stock. So people sleep on them. Like most people look at these cars, like the dude was mentioning earlier, as grandpa cars, as mom cars. So when people actually drive them and experience them, you're like, oh crap, like this is actually fast. Like this thing moves. And then going on to the next comment, he says, I would rather a Lexus RCF over a Dodge Hellcat any day. Hellcat engines are junk, as in Dodge / Stellantis. Yeah, that's one of the main things as to why, like, I love the Hellcat Red Eye. Like, if I were to get a Hellcat, I would have to get a Red Eye. For the amount of money, I don't think that you can get a more fun car. Like, you're getting, what, 800, 900 horsepower for a Red Eye, and you can find those for around 60 grand. But the caveat here is you're going to be a bigger target compared to a regular Hellcat owner, because people love to steal these cars. But obviously, if they steal a Red Eye, they're going to be able to get more from that car compared to a regular Hellcat. So I would be like watching my back everywhere I went if I got that car. So that's one of the main reasons as to why I could not purchase it. If I were to get one, it would have to stay in the garage most of the time, and I would just never take it out at nighttime, because people will literally steal a Hellcat over a supercar any day. And then the next comment, the Dragon Z says, tell them to make it in manual. I wish they made the RCF in a manual transmission. That would have opened up this car for so many more enthusiasts, because just the raw sound of this V8 in this car, it is so nice. It is so unique compared to other cars out there. And I mean, I have a lot of fun fun just using the paddle shifters on the sides here. That's as close as a manual as I'll get with this car. And I mean, Lexus hasn't made a manual transmission, I think since like the 2006 IS 250, which was a crazy span. I'm not really sure as to why they made that car, but they didn't make it for the IS 350. But who knows? I highly doubt in the future that Lexus will make a manual transmission, especially the route that the car industry is taking in general. So that kind of sucks. And then next comment, he says, another bonus, owners of a Lexus are not generally lumped in with the demographic of Hellcat / Charger / Challenger / Mustang / Camaro owners. I have a GT350 and get tired of every moron who wants to race and or wants to show me they can outdrive. The Shelby ain't all that. Only thing I don't like about the Lexus is the cow catcher meets Japanese Edsel grill treatment. I maybe understood like half of this paragraph here, but yeah, I mean, GT350s are amazing. Like if I were to get a Mustang, it would have to be at least a GT350. The Coyote motor just sounds insane. And I honestly think after, watching and listening to so many different Mustangs, that the Coyote motor sounds a lot better than the motor that's in the F cars. It's more of like a raw sounding V8 and it has more personality to it. And then Robert says, my Ram 1500 with a tune gapped that thing easily. I believe you, bro. I believe you. And then going on to the next comment, he says, if no one knows about it, then blame advertising. If no one knows it exists, then what do you expect? And he's talking about the RCF again. Honestly, I don't know how Lexus did with the advertising of this car. I know Lexus advertisements are actually pretty good, but again, it goes back to what the car actually offers. And sure, if the car looks great, that's amazing, sounds great, whatever. But if the performance isn't there, which is something that a lot of people are looking for when it comes to sports cars, then they're simply not going to buy it, especially if there are going to be other options out there within that same price range where you can get more bang for your buck, which is why I don't blame people for getting things like M3s, M4s, AMG cars, or even Mustangs at the end of the day, because there's more aftermarket parts, there's more community, there's more performance capabilities overall. So the people that buy Lexuses or like F cars are the people that love Lexuses and Toyotas in general. So it's more of like a deep love for these cars in the community. And honestly, I'll probably keep this car for maybe 2 years or so. If not, what I want to get next is either a C8, or if I save up enough money, I want to be able to get a McLaren 570S. That's going to be an amazing car. A McLaren has been one of my dream cars for the past like 7 or 8 years or so, just because it's the best bang for your buck in terms of like a supercar that you can get. The doors go up, it's a twin turbo V8, sounds amazing. In terms of reliability, it's not all that great, but I still would rather get that car compared to an Audi R8, mainly because of the marketing aspect, and I can use that car to make money for different videos and certain businesses that I'm in. So I think that would be a smarter move or smarter route to go. But there's so many different cars that are within the $100,000 to $140,000 price range. Another thing I was thinking about was a Ferrari FF with the V12. That's probably one of the best sounding cars that you can get for around $130,000. But I don't really like how the car looks. It's more of like a hatchback. So I guess there's pros and cons there. But let me know down in the comment section of what you guys think about Lexuses and Toyotas in general. Would you get an F car? What has been your experience with them? Have you raced them? Have you owned them? Just let me know. And be sure to like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.